Good morning, friends. Welcome. Chaim on some coffee. There once was a woman who took her daughter for a checkup by the pediatrician. And after looking over the baby, she turned to the mother and she said, "Your baby is beautiful." She said, "Oh yeah, you probably say that to every baby, every mother that comes in there with their babies." She said, No, your baby is actually beautiful." She said, "Really? What would you say if she wasn't beautiful?" "Oh, simple. I would just say she looks just like you." There are two types of blessings, and I want to talk about them in context of the Parsha, which describes the brachas that Yitzchak gave Yaakov. Torah tells us, "V'yiten lecha ha'elikim," Hashem will give you from the dew of the heaven and from the fat of the earth. Yaakov was blessed by Yitzchak with great, great blessings. Now, there's a principle that every name of Hashem, every divine name, has meaning, structure, and it expresses the flow of a certain energy into this world. So I'm going to discuss two of them. Number one is Havaya, which is also known as Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is God's name. And the other one is Elokim. Maybe you could say this as God or Lord. And generally speaking, Kabbalistically, Havaya, the first name, is all about giving. It's about flowing. It's about kindness. And when Hashem gives us the blessings through the Kohanim, every verse of Birchas Kohanim has the name Havaya once. Hashem v'yishmerecha, right? Yor Hashem, and then Yisa Hashem. These are all using the name Havaya because that would be the normal way of blessing. When you want to give, you express it in a way of Havaya. The other name, Elokim, represents restraint, discipline, holding back, not giving. That's why when Hashem created the world, in the very first verse of the Torah, what's used is this term, Elokim. Bereshis bara Elokim. Why? Because in order to create a world, you have to withhold the intense spiritual energy. Because if you're going to have the flow of godliness so strong, the physical world cannot handle it. The physical world is designed to conceal God's presence. You don't feel how there's a spiritual energy which is making it exist. And it's expressed by the word Elokim, and that's the technical function of creation was done through Elokim, to withhold the spiritual energy, to allow just the right amount to be able to create a world. So it's Havaya is the name that's giving, that's blessing, that's flowing. Elokim represents pulling back, in a sense, concealing, and not giving. Okay? These are the two. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments, or if you're watching this live, you could just put it in the chat box, depending what platform you're on. Use the opportunity to share and, of course, subscribe. So if Havaya is all about giving, blessing, and Elokim is all about withholding and discipline, what should these great blessings from Yitzchak to Yaakov, what should they be? Should they be Havaya or should they be Elokim? Obviously, they should be Elokim. However, we find, if you look at the verse, it says, V'yiten lecha Elokim, that Elokim should give to you. How does that work? Most of all other blessings use Havaya. Not only that, there actually is one other place where it says, Vayevarech Elokim es Yitzchak b'nai, Hashem blessed Yitzchak, the son of Avram. He also uses the word Elokim. But why here does he say Elokim if all the blessings, including Birchas Kohanim, we say Havaya? So to understand this, we need to understand what is really giving and what level does that come from. You see, there are two types of giving and really two types of kindness. We explain in Chassidus regarding the mitzvah of blowing the shofar that when you blow shofar, what you cause on Rosh Hashanah, you cause a change, a shift in the severity and intensity which tends to flow down. Okay, so if something is wrong, if there's judgment that has to take place, if there's some type of punishment, God forbid, the shofar is changing something in the higher worlds. But what he mentions over there is that although chesed is kindness, which is havaya, and gvura is severity, discipline, which is elikim, technically speaking, don't be fooled and think that havaya is the ultimate, and that's the only place that you get kindness from. In other words, there is a greater level of kindness which comes from elikim. And I'll explain why. When you're kind, when you give, when there's just kindness going on, flowing, you're a kind person, you're giving a certain amount, a certain way. You're very kind, you're giving a lot in a very good way. But it's a structure called kindness. It has even a little coldness to it because it's doing what it's designed to do. Then you have elikim, which is gvura, which is strength. Strength is not cold. Strength is intense. Think about someone that's almost angry. They are burning, they're hot, they're passionate. Okay? So kindness doesn't really connect with passion. It's giving, there's a desire, there's warmth. But actually in Kabbalah, it's referred to as being cold. Gvura, on the other hand, is seething. It's boiling. It's hot. If you could channel and get brachos from the Elikim path, using Shem Elikim, they are going to be much greater blessings than the brachos of Havaya. Because once you get the brachos from that area, it's going to be a greater measure than if you're just coming from Chesed, from Havaya, which is Chesed. That's, by the way, rain, which is blessing, is also Gevura. We say Gevura is Hagshamim, strength, the severity, if you will, of rain. Rain also has the property that it could be very damaging. If it's too much rain, if it's the wrong time, it could be a tsunami. Okay. But the idea here is that you do find some places where kindness, or blessing rather, comes through Gevura, comes through strictness. Yaakov is receiving blessings using the name of Elikim. He's getting some of the greatest blessings that exist. It should be tremendous. And let me give you an analogy. You're coming to give someone something. You're a very kind person. You're a very gentle person. You want to help somebody. So you knock on their door, and there's no answer. You're very kind. You don't have what it takes to knock down a door. It's not your personality. It's not your type. You're not going to barge. You're not going to throw with all of your strength. You're going to give. If it works, works. If not, you did your part. If you're a Gvura personality, if you're using severity, discipline, strength, then you're coming and you're willing to break, smash, force, all that type of stuff because you have that quality to you. So if you set up giving from the kindness and giving from the severity, the Gvura side, which one is going to be more of giving? The Gvura will be more. Now, the Gvura doesn't give, but if you get it to give, if you could bring out the giving that's there, it's going to be much stronger. It's going to really bring it out. Okay, so when Hashem is giving, through Yitzchak, giving the bracha to Yaakov, it's done in a way of Elikim. It's done in a way of Elikim because it's going to be much greater brachas than before. So much so that it's greater brachas than this that Avram received. Because remember, Avram was chesed. He's all about kindness. He's all about gentleness. And therefore, he doesn't connect, if you will, with the Gevura line. So Hashem is giving that through to Yaakov, which is after Avram, after Yitzchak. Yitzchak is Gevura. He's giving to Yaakov brachas from that channel, from that path, and therefore it's a tremendous amount of blessing. I want to connect this to the concept that sometimes things don't seem like they're going the way they should. Sometimes there's a blockage. Sometimes things are not so pleasant. And you have two ways to look at it. You can look at it and say, it's not kindness, it's not good, and it's over. Or you could choose to say that there's a greater blessing here. And let me bring out that blessing. Very often when it comes to creation, when it comes to getting something, a leap to a much greater level than you were till now, it requires retreat. Think about the example of a person, a teacher, wants to explain a concept to a child, okay, to a student. So, for example, if you have a math concept, you want to teach your child something in math. Very good. Now, you want to tell them that 2 + 2 is 4, but how they don't know what plus means, and they don't know what addition is all about. So you stop and you think, and you don't talk. Then you say, you know what? Let me use the example of 2 oranges, because this child loves oranges. And you say, if I had 2 oranges, how many do you have? 2. You put together another 2, now you have 4. What you're doing is you're stopping the math concept that you're trying to teach. You're stepping back, you're thinking, you're not giving over any information, and then you're explaining it through an analogy. And very often, that when a person is giving over information, when a person is trying to pass on a strong concept, he stops. And that lack of giving, that withdrawal, allows something greater to come about. I'll give you a different example. By the way, if you have questions, just shoot it. Creative people. Very often, there's a blank. You're trying to do something. You're trying to come up with a concept. And all of a sudden, you just do nothing. Almost about to throw in the towel. You're almost about to give up. You say, I can't do this anymore. That lack, that nothingness, is the same concept of Gevura, where you're pulling back. There's restraint. There's nothing going on now. And somehow out of that comes the blessing, the flow, the inspiration. This is the idea that Gevura, and when something is not going so well, you could choose to see this as an opening to get blessings from a higher place. Because when you sweeten those Gevuras, when you transform that severity, you bring out from there huge blessings. So it's my blessing to you, viewers, that you should see a lot of chesed in your life, a lot of kindness. And anything that was not so kind, that was a little bit gvura, should be transformed to even greater blessings, just like Yitzchak received. There should be no downs, just using the down one, so to speak, that already existed to propel great blessings. Sei gesund.